Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of You'd Like to Take Your Life Back Today show. I want to jump right into this. I welcome you, but I want to talk about something I read about Governor Cuomo. Um, a Shirley woman was struck and killed off William Floyd Parkway in Shirley on Tuesday afternoon, May 31st, 2016, Suffolk County Police said. The victim was identified as Margaret Friedrichs. That's right, my mother. My mother was killed May 31st, 2016 at 3:05. Governor Cuomo launches a $100 million initiative to keep pedestrians safe across New York State. Let's adjust this. Police said that at about 3:05 Tuesday, a driver, which I named John Doe, was driving west on Roberts Road when he turned north onto William Floyd Parkway in his 2008 car and struck Mrs. Friedrichs on the crosswalk. Keyword, on the crosswalk. Friedrichs was pronounced dead at the scene by a doctor from the Office of Suffolk County Medical Examiner. Doe stayed at the scene and was not injured. Police said they impounded the truck. They ask anyone who witnessed the crash to call 631-852-8752. Now, mind you, that was my mother, May 31st, 3:05, 2016. Governor Cuomo, on June 20th, approved $110 million for pedestrian walkway and other funds related to that to improvement. Engineering, education, and enforcement campaign set to improve safety for pedestrians in New York State. New pedestrian safety website launched on that day. Governor Andrew Cuomo today announced the state's first ever comprehensive pedestrian safety plan, a proactive multi-agency initiative that provides $110 million for pedestrian safety improvements across New York and Long Island during the next 5 years. The program will utilize an engineering, education, and enforcement campaign to enhance safety. To kick off the campaign, the governor introduced a new pedestrian safety website at www.ny.gov/pedsafety, PEDSAFETY. Beginning today, more than a dozen police agencies across the state are conducting pedestrian safety enforcement campaigns that will run through July 3rd. Supporting these education programs, enforcement efforts will set a new safety standard for pedestrians and motorists and help make the state's roadways safer for all. Too late for my mother, unfortunately. Governor Cuomo said, through these efforts, we will help prevent avoidable tragedies and save lives. The New York State's Pedestrian Safety Action Plan, which the Federal Highway Administration supports, takes three-pronged approach to improving safety during a campaign that will run through the state fiscal year 2020. It is being implemented cooperatively by New York State Department of Transportation, focusing on engineering improvements, the State Department of Health conducting public education and awareness campaigns, and the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee coordinated increased law enforcement. The plan targets improvements in communities outside of New York City. The city has established pedestrian safety programs that receive millions in federal funding. Number 1 and number 3 in New York State is Nassau and Suffolk County for pedestrian deaths. The Pedestrian Safety Plan supplements other traffic safety programs, including this year's Highway Safety Improvement Program grant awards for projects that will enhance safety and mobility on roadways across the state. A list of HSIP project awards by region is available when you Google it. Safety is our top priority, and Pedestrian Safety Action Plan is one more example of how Governor Cuomo leadership is making New York State a safer place to live, work, and play. Department of Transportation and Commissioner Matthew Driscoll said, this initiative will make it easier to walk in cities, towns, and villages across the state, ensuring that people can get to where they have to be going safely, like my mother tried to. Acting GTSC Chair and Department of Motor Vehicles Executive Deputy Commissioner Terry Egan said the GTSC supports year-round efforts to prevent pedestrian crashes, injuries, and deaths, emphasizing the responsibility that all New Yorkers have to share the road. We are proud to team up with the DOT and DOH, always our partner in traffic safety, to implement this action plan and enforce the law so that the pedestrians get their destination safely. Department of Health Commissioner Dr. Howard Zucker said pedestrian-related traffic injuries and fatalities continue to be a major public health concern in New York State, especially Nassau and Suffolk counties. These incidents are preventable, and we all have shared responsibility to create and sustain safe traffic environment. I look forward to working with our state and local partners and coordinate and put action educational strategies in New York State Pedestrian Action Plan. Peter Osborne, FHWA New York Division Administrator, said the Federal Highway Administration is pleased to partner up with New York State Department of Transportation, the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee, and New York State Department of Health and other safety partners on developing and implementing the Pedestrian Safety Action Plan. We commend our partners for being proactive here in the state of New York to combat this national issue, improving pedestrian saving. Pedestrian crash analysis. The need for a plan is very clear. Highlights of key findings from the analysis of 5 years of statewide traffic data from 2009 to 2013 include the following. Approximately 300 pedestrians are killed and 15,000 injured by motor vehicles each year. More than 25% of motor vehicle-related fatalities are pedestrians. 88% of pedestrian crashes outside New York City occurred in urban areas like Suffolk and Nassau counties. 48% of urban crashes outside New York City occurred in 20 communities. Pedestrian crashes on state routes are more severe. More than 70% of all pedestrian crashes happened on local-owned roads. 61% of contributing factors to pedestrian crashes were related to the driver's actions, while 37% were related to pedestrian actions. For drivers, the two top contributing factors were driver inattention and failure to yield right away, like what happened to my mother. For pedestrians, the top two were pedestrian error and pedestrians' failure to yield right away. The Safety Action Plan, part of the state's board effort to improve traffic safety, supports the state's complete street laws and is consistent with the Americans with Disabilities Act Transition Plan. Governor Cuomo signed the Complete Streets Law in 2011, requiring the state, county, and local agencies to consider the safety and convenience of all users when developing transportation projects. That means cars, trucks, people, bicycles, joggers, all. Funding for the plan's implementation will come from the Federal Highway Safety Improvement Program, as well as other state and federal funding sources. Systemic approach to engineering improvements. The plan calls for a systemic approach to proactively address widespread safety issues and minimize the potential for crashes by implementing low-cost countermeasures throughout roadway networking. Pedestrian safety site evaluations will begin this year on state-owned roadways, including at 2,000 crosswalks, like my mother was killed on a crosswalk on Roberts Road, May 31st, 2016, without traffic signals, and 2,400 signalized intersections. The second year of plan, New York State DOT will fund local pedestrian safety, an initiative identified through a project solicitation. Information about the funding will be available later this year. Improvements at crosswalks without traffic signals will include pavement markings and signs. Up to 400 locations will receive enhanced treatments as warranted, including refugee islands and attention-grabbing light beacons. At signalized intersection, high-visibility crosswalk markings and additional signs will be installed. Signalization will be enhanced with extended crossing times, countdown timers, and tell pedestrians how many seconds they have to cross the street, and leading pedestrians intervals that help make pedestrians more visible to motorists by giving them a head start before traffic can turn onto their street. These sites also will be looked over for enhanced treatments such as pedestrian refuge islands or medium and curb extensions. Got to remember, these countdown clocks have to account for older people. Please, she was 76. In addition, New York State Department of Transportation will look over for potential safety improvements, 5 corridors with higher than expected number of pedestrian crashes. At the same time, the State Department of Health will produce and place public service announcements about pedestrian safety engage local traffic safety boards, schools, and other public outreach, and provide training for safety organizations. The Governor's Traffic Safety Committee will encourage police agencies to apply for traffic safety grants in 20 communities which have the highest number of pedestrian crashes, and I would hope that would be the town of Brookhaven because of all the fatalities on William Floyd Parkway, Shirley, New York, 11967. Let's get to the next one here. Focus communities. The plan calls for the communities with the highest numbers of crashes from 2009 to 2013 outside of New York City to be given extra attention to improve pedestrian safety. That will be done by providing education, enforcement, and funding for safety improvement projects through competitive grant solicitation. A list of communities is available if you Google it. Education and enforcement initiatives, a targeted enforcement campaign by police agencies along the corridor starts today and runs through the end of next week with the goal of improving both driver and pedestrian safety. Police will hand out warning notice developed by GTSC and DOH, which details state law regarding pedestrians. They also may issue tickets to both pedestrians and motorists for violating that law. In addition, police will have supplies of informative motorist and pedestrian safety tip cards to distribute. Furthering the education effort, a pocket guide covering vehicle and traffic law related to pedestrians was developed for police personnel. It serves as a resource that law enforcement personnel can keep in their patrol car boxes for quick reference. In addition, a fact sheet will be distributed as part of an outreach to local courts to inform them of the campaign and help reinforce the importance of issues that are being addressed with the focus on pedestrian safety. The education campaign emphasizes that be seen message for driver and pedestrian awareness. The C aspect of this campaign encourages drivers to stop for pedestrians at crosswalks and intersections. Do not block crosswalks when stopped at an intersection. Do not run red lights. Slow down and obey speed limits. Always look for pedestrians left and right, particularly when turning at a green light or making a right on red, which I'm totally against. Take extra care around schools, playgrounds, and neighborhoods. The be seen aspect of this campaign is to encourage pedestrians to cross at intersections and marked crosswalks, which my mother did, and it unfortunately didn't do her any good. Use pedestrian push buttons where available, which my mother did, and wait for signals to cross, which she did. She used sidewalks. If there are no sidewalks, walk facing traffic so you can see vehicles and drivers see you. Stay visible after dark in bad weather by wearing light-colored or reflective clothing. Watch for vehicles backing out of parking spaces and existing drivers. Make eye contact with the driver so they see you. Look left, look right, and then look left again before crossing that street. Congressman Eliot Engel said, "Those of us who live in and around the busy streets of New York City know that we can never be too safe when it comes to protecting pedestrians." I support Governor Cuomo's New York State Pedestrian Action Plan, although it is too late, which is supported by the Federal Highway Administration and will undoubtedly improve public health and safety. Congresswoman Nita Lowey said pedestrian safety is critical to health, safety, and quality of life in our communities. This is a great example of how we can work across levels of government to make differences in the lives of so many New Yorkers. Congressman Steve Israel said, "Knowing that Long Island is home to some of the most dangerous roads in the state, like William Floyd Parkway, I have been a relentless fighter for resources to make our roads safer. I fought in Congress to make certain that policies were included on long-term highway bill to ensure safety for all travelers is a priority for planning and building roadways. I applaud Governor Cuomo for launching this initiative and will continue to be a partner in an effort to keep our streets safer." Congressman Paul Tonko said, "These infrastructure improvements will make it easier for New Yorkers to commute and to recreate in the capital region throughout the entire state. I thank Governor Cuomo for recognizing these local needs and acting on them in a way that will boost our economy and creates quality jobs in our area." Congresswoman Kathleen Rice said pedestrian safety is both a public health and priority and local economic priority. Over the past several years, the town of Hempstead and our district has seen the highest number of pedestrians-involved crashes in the entire state. That's a serious problem for parents raising kids in our communities, for residents who deserve to be able to walk and run safely in our neighborhoods, and for business owners who rely on foot action in our business districts. The governor's new initiative offers the opportunity to confront the problem comprehensively through smarter engineering, education, and enforcement. And I am pleased that the town of Hempstead has been designated as a focus community so that we can give pedestrian safety in our district our full attention. Congressman Lee Zeldin said this critical initiative secured throughout the bipartisan federal highway bill that passed Congress last year will help to make improvement to our community's local infrastructure, increasing walkability and pedestrian motorist safety in Suffolk County. As a member of the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, I strongly support improving our local roadways and will continue working in the Congress to strengthen Long Island's infrastructure. The educational campaign stresses that drivers and pedestrians must avoid distractions and not text or use mobile devices while driving or walking across the street. For more information, visit Governor Cuomo's new pedestrian safety website at www.ny.governor.pedsafety.org. It provides an overview of the pedestrian safety plan, examples of the highway safety improvements that can enhance pedestrian safety, tips for safety navigating roadways, and keeping pedestrians safe. May 31st, 3:05, Shirley, New York. My mother, Margaret Friedrichs, age 76, was walking across Roberts Road, was about one-third across a crosswalk, and a Dodge Ram truck, I won't name the driver, hit my mother brutally, tragically, and she is no longer with us. I thank Governor Cuomo for bringing this to light now so that we can move forward to making the road safer, because this could be your mother, it could be your grandmother, it could be your children, it could be so many people. So sometimes things get approved after the fact, and I'm sure, this actually was approved last year, it was just now put into legislation. But my point here is that if we can avoid any more tragedy down the road, that is mission accomplished. My mother is in a better place. She's in heaven. She's truly missed by all of us. And I hope to God that Governor Cuomo's legislation with the $110 million that was set aside now to improve the roads will work to improve the roads and will bring awareness that there are people jogging and walking on these roads, people innocently walking across crosswalks, hitting the buttons, being told, go ahead and walk, and get run down like my mother. Margaret Friedrichs, age 76, born in Germany, died Shirley, New York, May 31st, 2016 at 3:05. I miss you, Mama.